Hey there, welcome back. And if this is your first time here, my name is Shell, and I am here to talk about and bring awareness to mental health issues and how it affects my life. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about how DID or dissociative identity disorder affects me and our system. I discovered that I was part of a system back in February of this year. It's been a rough journey. I still have days where I question if it's real or if I'm faking it, because I don't feel like I have dealt with enough trauma to create a need for DID. Usually DID is formed from like severe traumatic events in childhood, and I just don't think mine was that bad. So I do have a hard time accepting it. I also pause before I get into that. Let me do a little bit of definitions. So in the last video, I did talk a little bit about what DID is, and I did use some terms, and I tried to quickly explain what those terms were while I was talking about them, but just to try to expound on that a little bit more. So for me, I am the host of the system. That means that I am the alter who is in charge of everyday life. I am the one that kind of directs where we are going. It's kind of been my life plan, if you can call it that, that we've been following. It is my personality that, you know, however you want to define that. It's my personality that's kind of used as the public facing identity, and so it is me that the other alters will mask as. I am the one that identifies with the body. I identify with the body's name, and you know, it's basically, I'm not supposed to say this, I'm not supposed to think this way, but it is like my life that we're kind of living, and I am trying to figure out how to make it more democratic, but it's really difficult because I have been living as a singlet, or somebody who does not have DID or OSDD, for over 30 years, and so I'm having to learn how to share my life, which is hard. We as a system do not switch a lot. I am typically out for days at a time. I can sometimes be out without any access to the others. I won't hear them. I won't have any contact with them. Every now and then I'll get like feelings that aren't mine, or I'll get like a weird impulse or thought that isn't mine, and I know it's coming from it's called passive influence, and this is when an alter can influence what is happening on the outside without actually coming out. Now when an alter does come out, so like let's say I was no longer the one in control and Jessica came out, Jessica would then be the person fronting, and that would be the transition from me to her. It would be called switching. Now you can have more than one person fronting at a time. In fact, in our system, our littles tend to co-front a lot, meaning both of them are out at the same time. And then you can also be co-conscious or co-con, meaning that you aren't controlling the body, but you are within the front consciousness and being able to see and communicate and all of that. That also happens a lot with the littles. The littles are never out by themselves. They tend to co-front, and then we always have somebody co-con with them, just for safety reasons. And also, there's a couple of others that like are almost never by themselves. They're almost always co-con with somebody. And the rest of the team has a lot better communication with one another than I have with them, which sucks. I'm a little jealous, but I am working on it. So as far as who we are as a system, the reason I'm doing it this way is I'm not going to say we won't do introductions. It's just not something that we're going to plan for one thing. Like I said, I'm the one who is usually out. For another, we don't control our switches. So it very much could be that somebody gets ready to film, sets everything up, and as soon as the camera turns on, somebody else comes out. So because we can't control our switches, it's really hard to plan for an introduction video. The other thing is not everybody is as excited to be in front of the camera. So we're just going to do the introduction this way, and if somebody else is able to film and wants to do so, they can do their own introduction as well. So as I said, I am the host of the system. The one who I am aware of being around the longest would be Mary, our caretaker, meaning that she handles a lot of like the inside. She's an internal helper. She does not front very much. There was another word that I came across that was a good description for her as well, but I can't remember it right now. But she basically takes care of the inside, and she knows the system more than any of the rest of us, and refuses to tell us what it is that she knows. But yeah, she mostly handles the inside, keeps things neat and tidy, handles stuff that I have no idea exists, as well as keeping the peace inside. Cameron would be the next one. I've known that he was around since high school. I didn't know he was an alter. I thought he was an imaginary friend. But he is a protector. He recently underwent a bit of a change, and his role has changed, and he is now more of a caretaker. And he and Mary have split the duties, where Mary handles a lot more of the internal stuff and handles like the stuff that none of us know about, whereas Cameron takes care of the more active alters. He's the one who's in charge of the littles. He is the one who's usually co-con with the littles. He is the one that tries to keep the system together, to keep us all on the same team, to make sure that everybody's voice is being heard, and to try to keep the peace, basically, and to make sure that we stay safe and healthy. And then next would be Megumi. He is more of an emotional part. He holds a lot of the carefree happiness for the system. And he has not been out very much. I actually haven't heard from him for a long time, and I think it's because Cameron's position changed. Megumi and Cameron are very close. They kind of go hand in hand. Megumi is rarely out without Cameron next to him. And so I think because Cameron doesn't front as much, Megumi doesn't either. And he was never like a major offender to begin with, but he has kind of like gone away from where I can access. And then the next ones are the ones that I didn't know about until this year. I have Ricky, who is a emotional protector. He also is the one that kind of holds the anger of the system. And so his way of protecting is usually very abrasive and aggressive. He can come across as very rude, but he really like has the best intentions. Everything he does is always for the protection of the system. And he just is really wanting to make sure that we stay safe. We have Veronica, who is our social alter. She is the one who loves to party, loves to be around people. A lot of times she will come out while I'm getting ready to go out, because like she'll be like, oh, I see makeup going on, we must be doing something, and she'll come out. And she used to front a lot more than she has lately, and I think it's because of an incident that occurred with a friend of ours. So I think hopefully she'll be around more often as we recover from that. If you see orbs flying around there, I can see the dust flying through the room, so I'm not being like surrounded by spiritual orbs. And then there is Jessica, who is we think that she's a protector. We're not entirely sure what her role in the system is. She was dormant and came active again during a very rough weekend for the system emotionally. And she describes, sorry, I can hear her. She describes herself as the fixer. She says that the rest of us cause a mess, and she has to come out and fix shit. That's what she does. She fixes shit. And oh oh gosh, we really need a haircut. Okay, what were we talking about? Oh, right. So my name is Jessica, and yes, I am the one that cleans up all the shit that everybody else causes. I basically was dormant for a long time, and I came back from sleep or whatever during a very emotional weekend. I came awake in the middle of a grocery store, which freaking sucked. And was like, okay, the hell am I doing here? Didn't know who I was for probably a couple of days until I remembered. That was weird. Yeah, we don't really know what to call my role. I have been fronting a lot lately. Not to the point where I could really say that I'm like a co-host for the system like Cameron was back in high school, but enough that like I'm out a lot. So like a lot of times Shell thinks that like we don't switch a lot, but it's because like I come out and I'm probably the closest to her, to how she is than anybody else. And there's like, we could probably do like a 2-hour video on like everything that we are learning and uncovering about how DID affects us. But that would be a lot of talking and you guys would get bored from staring at us that long, so we won't do that. And right now it's going to look like we wear the same shirt every single day, but we don't. We are filming this in quick succession because we very rarely have the energy to film along with the opportunity to do so. So we're trying to get as much filmed today as possible, which is actually kind of nice because it makes things a little more cohesive. So like it means that, you know, if a thought is leading somewhere, we can stop and then we can be like, oh, that'll be like the next thing we film, and we literally just go into that. But enough of my rambling. Did we catch everybody? I think the only ones we're missing are the littles. We have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old, and they are, I don't want to say we'll never show them on camera because, again, we don't really control the switches, although the littles very rarely come out unless we allow them to. So we do set time aside for them. Like we'll turn on, like, Disney movies are the best for them. And then a lot of times they'll do like a lot of passive influence where it's kind of like, oh, we're shopping. Oh, look, a stuffed animal. Can we get that, please? Oh, actually, so we went shopping yesterday, and freaking Lilith, who is our 5-year-old, saw this at Target in the like dollar section, and she was immediately like, oh my gosh, I have to have it. And we were like, okay, because we can barely ever say no to these guys. And then Cameron was like, well, if we get one for Lilith, we have to get one for little one, who's our other little. She's the 8-year-old. So Lilith got the pink one and little one got the blue one. So that is how they get to kind of express their needs in our system. I think we covered everybody. If you have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. And I don't remember everything that Shell said, but we'll review the video and try to like put any links we might have mentioned down below. Until next time, take care, stay well, bye.